In a rapidly changing world filled with new opportunities and challenges, one platform is bringing Indian professionals together to learn, grow, and succeed globally. Welcome to the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a dynamic network dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals across the world. At IIPA, we believe success becomes more meaningful when knowledge is shared and communities grow together. Our mission is to support professionals, students, and job seekers by creating opportunities for learning, mentorship, networking, and career development. Through impactful workshops, expert-led seminars, career guidance programs, and professional networking initiatives, IIPA helps individuals sharpen their skills, explore new possibilities, and prepare for the future. More than just an association, IIPA is a thriving community built on collaboration, continuous learning, and collective progress. We are committed to empowering individuals with the right knowledge and resources, encouraging collaboration among diverse talents and experiences, promoting continuous growth in an evolving global landscape. By bringing together the strength, experience, and potential of Indian professionals worldwide, we aim to create lasting impact that goes beyond borders. Together we learn. Together we grow. Together we lead. Join us in building a stronger, smarter, and more connected professional community for generations to come. In a rapidly changing world filled with new opportunities and challenges, one platform is bringing Indian professionals together to learn, grow, and succeed globally. Welcome to the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a dynamic network dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals across the world. At IIPA, we believe success becomes more meaningful when knowledge is shared and communities grow together. Our mission is to support professionals, students, and job seekers by creating opportunities for learning, mentorship, networking, and career development. Through impactful workshops, expert-led seminars, career guidance programs, and professional networking initiatives, IIPA helps individuals sharpen their skills, explore new possibilities, and prepare for the future. More than just an association, IIPA is a thriving community built on collaboration, continuous learning, and collective progress. We are committed to empowering individuals with the right knowledge and resources, encouraging collaboration among diverse talents and experiences, promoting continuous growth in an evolving global landscape. By bringing together the strength, experience, and potential of Indian professionals worldwide, we aim to create lasting impact that goes beyond borders. Together we learn. Together we grow. Together we lead. Join us in building a stronger, smarter, and more connected professional community for generations to come. In a rapidly changing world filled with new opportunities and challenges, one platform is bringing Indian professionals together to learn, grow, and succeed globally. Welcome to the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a dynamic network dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals across the world. At IIPA, we believe success becomes more meaningful when knowledge is shared and communities grow together. Our mission is to support professionals, students, and job seekers by creating opportunities for learning, mentorship, networking, and career development. Through impactful workshops, expert-led seminars, career guidance programs, and professional networking initiatives, IIPA helps individuals sharpen their skills, explore new possibilities, and prepare for the future. More than just an association, IIPA is a thriving community built on collaboration, continuous learning, and collective progress. We are committed to empowering individuals with the right knowledge and resources, encouraging collaboration among diverse talents and experiences, promoting continuous growth in an evolving global landscape. By bringing together the strength, experience, and potential of Indian professionals worldwide, we aim to create lasting impact that goes beyond borders. Together we learn. Together we grow. Together we lead. Join us in building a stronger, smarter, and more connected professional community for generations to come. In a rapidly changing world filled with new opportunities and challenges, one platform is bringing Indian professionals together to learn, grow, and succeed globally. Welcome to the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a dynamic network dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals across the world. At IIPA, we believe success becomes more meaningful when knowledge is shared and communities grow together. Our
Shahid, can you
mission is
stop
to
it?
support professionals, students, and job seekers by creating opportunities for learning, mentoring.
Good afternoon, good evening, and Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Shafiq, your host for this webinar. On behalf of International Indian Professionals Association, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar titled How to Inculcate Creative Writing Skills in Children. In a world where artificial intelligence is changing how we learn, work, and communicate, one human ability will always remain irreplaceable: the ability to think creatively, imagine fearlessly, and express ideas meaningfully. Creative writing is not merely about putting words on paper, it is about nurturing curiosity, empathy, confidence, critical thinking, and communication. Every child carries within them a unique story waiting to be discovered. As parents and educators, our responsibility is not to write that story for them, but to provide the environment, encouragement, and inspiration that helps them find their own voice. Whether a child grows up to become an author, scientist, entrepreneur, engineer, or leader, the ability to think creatively and communicate effectively will remain one of the greatest assets throughout life. Today's session is therefore not just about writing stories, it is about unlocking imagination, building confidence, and nurturing future innovators and change makers. We are truly delighted to have parents, teachers, and education enthusiasts joining us from different places. Thank you for investing your valuable time in your child's future. It is now a privilege and honor to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's webinar, Dr. Vajeda Kardar. Dr. Vajeda is a rare combination of technology, education, creativity, and entrepreneurship. She holds a PhD in marketing management and has built an exceptional career as an educator, author mentor, publishing consultant, corporate trainer, management educationist, and the founder of Honeycomb. With an academic foundation in software engineering and a deep passion for education, Dr. Kardar uniquely blends analytical thinking with creativity to design transformative learning experiences for children. Not only children, even educated and aspiring authors. Over the years, she has mentored more than 500 authors across the globe, guiding them from the spark of an idea to becoming published authors. Her expertise spans fiction, non-fiction, children's literature, business books, and personal development publications. One of her most inspiring contributions has been empowering young writers to become published authors, while also helping professionals, including doctors, therapists, educators, entrepreneurs, and business leaders, establish their authority and influence through impactful books. Dr. Vajda believes that a book is far more than a publication. Through meticulous research, strategic positioning, and audience focused planning, she helps authors identify the ideas that matter most, transforming books into a powerful tools for personal branding, thought leadership, business growth, and lasting influence. Today, we are fortunate enough to learn from someone who has not only helped hundreds of people tell their stories, but has also inspired countless children and adults to discover the writer within themselves. For those who wish to stay connected and receive regular updates about our future programs, we'll be sharing links to our official groups in the chat box shortly. We also highly value your suggestions and feedback as they help us improve and bring more meaningful initiatives to you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of this session. Let us begin this journey of learning together. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Vajda. Ma'am, we are honored to have you with us. The virtual stage is yours now.
Jazakallah khair, sir. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do I need to put on the video or is it okay?
Yeah, you can.
All right, because I didn't see anyone else with the video. Oh, give me a moment, please.
Yes, you are visible.
Oh. All right, Jazakallah khair, sir, for the wonderful introduction. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak. I hope I am goodly audible to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Atan. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon our beloved Prophet. So, as sir introduced so nicely about me, good introduction. Thank you so much for that, sir. So, I don't think I should be speaking anything else about me now. But yes, I would be sharing something that is very important in the context of creative writing. I have a small question for every one of you. When you were a kid, did you like writing? I'm not talking about love writing. Did you like writing? You can answer in chat. Yes, so there I can see there are certain mixed responses, but no seem to be more and yes seems to be less. But there is a reason behind it. What could be the reason? See, the writing that we did in our times was totally different than what today we are expected to do. And forget about us. When we talk of our kids, then it matters a lot. Why? Because there are hundreds of distractions everywhere around. So me basically is a software engineer. I had done my education from Pune University and then I got married and then I settled in Nagpur. And the time when I came to Nagpur, it was like there was nothing like IT hub over here. So being a software engineer became very difficult. And at that time, work from home was nowhere to be seen. But I had a passion for teaching because my parents were into teaching and everyone, I mean, that's in my blood, I should say that. And I had a passion for writing. So I used to write for newspapers, small articles. Sometimes they used to get published, sometimes they used to get rejected simply. Sometimes I even tried to enter the critics and I did a remarkable, I mean, I cannot explain that so well, but that was something very nice that created, huge vibes at that time. But it was something very amazing that I feel I am proud of. Yes. So this happened. And then because I was so much interested in writing, my husband gave me a challenge. Why don't you just write your own book and let people know about this? So I was like, okay, I'm writing my book. And when I was writing my daughter sneaked in and said, I also want to write a book. And then began the journey of teaching her something that I thought only elders can. Children cannot write books. No, but that happened. Me and my daughter, we separately wrote different books. The difference was that she wrote under my guidance, and that is the way this creative writing came into existence. By that time, I was done with my management PhD, and I am basically an assistant professor. I teach marketing management, and I am a core funnel designer for small and medium businesses, and I also help small enterprises to bring their business on the digital platform, and how to connect the business with the book. So I work in two dimensions. My first
Dr.
dimension.
Vajda, Dr. Vajda, can
Yes,
you
sir.
bring the mic closer to you?
Okay, sir. Yeah, I hope it's fine now.
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I work in two dimensions. Dimension number one is my interests and my inclination is towards teaching young children how to think, imagine, and write creatively. These young children are usually kids from the age group of 7 years to maybe 14, 15, or 18 years. But these kids, they usually write fiction or research based fiction. Then, if you are someone who has got 10 years of experience in your expertise or maybe in your niche, for example, you can be a physiotherapist, you can be a pediatrician, you might be a yoga trainer, you might be a mentor, a teacher, right? Or you might be someone who is an expert into something. For example, there can be some marketing executives also who have developed in these 10 years, who have developed their own strategy, own way of doing business. Even if you're a doctor, you might have developed your own way of diagnosing a situation or diagnosing the problem in the patient. So we conduct kind of interview, which we call as workflow interview for the non-fiction writers, and then we find out what 100 problems these authors or these established people can solve, and then with their guidance and with our mentorship, guidance and mentorship both, okay, because it's not that we or my team is going to write, we are not into ghost writing. It's like I am going to extract from your mind what specialties do you possess and how do you put it in the form of a book and it becomes a legacy. So that in today's world, if you go on Google and you type your name, the book comes in. So that shows your visibility. The book gives you identity and it also gives you credibility. So this is all about elders into creative writing. So creative writing is not only for children, it is for elders too. Next, let us come to the previous part. That is for the children. When it comes to children, why do children require creative writing and how do we inculcate it? That is the main reason that we all have gathered here. I would like to explain this to you because this is not very simple. Creative writing is not a switch that you put it on and you would be like, oh, from tomorrow, my child is going to write, think, and imagine creatively. That's all. No, it's a process. It's a lengthy process, but with the correct guidance, with the correct mentorship, this lengthy process can be shortened because there is something very important for all of us, and that is what we call appreciation and recognition. Let us take an example. Being a woman, I can relate with that, and with all the women who are present here, and with all the men also. The example that I'm going to give you: when mom or wife or sister cook something in the house and you don't appreciate. How is that? आज खाना कैसे बना? ठीक ही है. Gone. Appreciation matters. Recognition matters. Yes, ma'am, we do feel bad. We feel bad because we have worked so hard with so much love, creating it, preparing it. And now I have got a nice dialogue that I usually tell my husband or my in-laws when they tell me, oh, this isn't so nice. So I always tell them that when you wake up for Fajr Salah, then it is said that risk comes in, right? So this was actually cooked at that time, but it has now become visible right now. So it's like everyone is like quiet, but this is not I don't know how much correct this answer is that, but when it comes to appreciation, when it comes to recognition, oh, biryani, my wife makes the best biryani of. So that's a recognition. Laddus, my sister makes the best laddus that she can make. That is recognition, that is appreciation. If you tell your child just to write everything, write and keep, wow, so good, you have returned this, keep this in the bag, put it on the wall, done. The child doesn't get any recognition, the child doesn't get any identification, nor could they, go after a few years, they can tell this that I had returned this because things you don't remember. So, for all this, how I can help and how Honeycomb can help for knowing answers for all this, we all have gathered here. So let me share this presentation with all of you. So we are here to understand how to inculcate creative writing in our children. What are the different ways we can do this? Is it so easy? Yes, it is very easy, but you need to take an initiative as a parent. How do we do that? But before we deep dive into it, it is very important for us to understand what exactly is creative writing and why we need to work on it. So what are we going to find out over here is what creative writing really is, what are the essential skills that are needed, then how does it shape thinking, communication, confidence, and creativity? And the most important thing, yes, simple, practical ways you can nurture this skill at home. So let us reflect for a moment. Think back in your childhood. When it came to studies, school, and learning, what was your routine? Get up in the morning, brush your teeth, get ready for school, go to school, sit, study, learn everything, memorize. How do plants make food? So the process is called photosynthesis. You cannot write anything else into it. Obviously, there's no other answer other than photosynthesis. Write the 7 steps in which photosynthesis can be described. Write the formula, C6H12O6, the formula for glucose. All those formulas should not go wrong, not even for a single bit of it. Then once that is done, get back home, prepare for your exams, score good marks. Even if you don't understand, just mug it up. In other words, ratify it, right? Mugging up, learning everything, studying everything, and then putting it in the exams on the paper. You have to complete your homework also, daily assignments. The homework would be write question and answers, write question answers. I'm not talking about this times, I'm talking about our childhood times. Next, you should avoid making mistakes. this was what our routine looked like. Yes, we did participate in extracurricular activities. For example, I also used to participate in a speech competition. That was one of my favorites. So I would have my speech ready, mug it up, and go and speak over there. Then, after some time came, oh, you need to show gestures, you need to show tonality, everything. Okay, and then the practicing in front of the mirror would begin. And then I would speak it in such a manner that everyone thinks that I am speaking so well, but actually I am acting. Is this creativity? Please answer me in chat. Is this creativity? Oh, I cannot see the chat. Yeah, this is not at all creativity. Then, what is creativity? And if you think that, yes, this was creativity, learning something and then putting it as it is on paper, if this was creativity, so then I would like to suggest something to you. If you say that yes, this is creativity, no, this is not creativity, this is a skill to muck and then put everything on paper as it is. How much growth potential do you show in this? Tomorrow, if you're given some different topic, tomorrow, if you're asked to connect the dot, if you're asked to recall, you're able to do that. So this is what has happened with us. And we don't want this to happen with our kids. Our kids do participate in extracurricular activities. They do a lot of public speaking, everything. But first, the only thing they don't do is they don't think what could be done. They don't know how to connect the dots. And that is what we are going to do in creative writing. What do you think? What should have been the scenario? The scenario should be this. We should be teaching our children to ask questions. We should be teaching them to express their opinion, teaching them how to imagine about just different possibilities. What do you mean by different possibilities? Possibilities means if there is one such situation, if you're going in a forest, imagine now that you are going in a desert, the settings change. If you're going in a forest, the settings change. If you're going in a desert, the settings change. If you're traveling in the night, the settings change. If you're traveling during the day, the settings change. If you are trekking on a rocky mountain, the settings change. All these places you are traveling. So think about possibilities. You need to visualize. Something that we missed was telling our own stories. We used to be excellent readers in our schools, but we were never got the opportunity to write a story and then tell this to everyone and then get recognized. And this is what we call about originality. So my point of speaking is, whatever we do, we need to document it. Whatever we write, we need to document it, get recognized, get appreciated. That opens up the cycle of confidence. That opens up the cycle of motivation. It's like, oh, I was appreciated for this. Everyone is appreciating me for this. I'm going to write more. What? They are going to read my story. I'm going to write it nicely. I'm going to think more. So this initiates their thought process. It gives them the opportunity to express themselves and along with that to get recognized, establish their identity. So in short, everyone wants their children to be curious, not just knowledgeable. Knowledge, go to the library, read lots of books, knowledge comes to you. But curiosity is finding out from that knowledge what happens next. That is curiosity. So we want that next level of being knowledgeable, which is curiosity, to be there in our kids. Next, we just don't want our kids to be correct. When they get knowledge, obviously, we strive that they should be getting correct knowledge, but that knowledge should be correct and creative. For a knowledge to be correct and creative, they need to know that fact very well. For if you want to write about photosynthesis, so you'll go in the library, get all the information about how photosynthesis works, then correctly document everything and try to be creative. What if one day water is nowhere to be found on Earth? That situation needs to be thought about. Now, when you think about such a situation, you realize, oh, this can be a scarcity of water, total elimination of water from the face of Earth. Then what are the things that can happen? Then their brain starts to think. And once they start to think about it, they start to visualize it, they become more confident. So having knowledge, that being a class 7 student, you should have a knowledge of photosynthesis, that is compliance. You should know this. Don't we do this? Oh, you study in 8th standard and you don't know the table of 100, or maybe you don't know the table of 225, or maybe you don't know the table of 25. This is the compliance that we put in the child. You should be knowing this. We don't let them think about different possibilities. We don't let them think about logical reasoning. We barely tell them, we ask them to participate in Olympiads, but then when it actually comes to applying logical reasoning, then it is the place where we step in. Next, we want them to be academically successful, but at the same time, it is very important for them to be expressive. You cannot carry your 10th standard scorecard everywhere or 12th standard scorecard everywhere unless and until you become something, or maybe you do graduation or something like that, or maybe you are a business owner. But how is it when you are seen everywhere, when you get the visibility, and that visibility actually builds confidence, and it later goes to the level of academic success. So this is the reason what we want our children to be, and I'm going to tell you how creative writing is the pathway to all this. So, to clear our idea about creative writing, what comes to your mind when someone tells you what is creative writing? So, imagination, stories, poems, English, grammar, books, this is all comes to our mind. And when you're talking about creative writing, this could be the things which are there. But let us think a little bit differently. Let us do some exercise. Okay? What you see here in this picture? A boy walking on the road. Okay. Tired boy. Yes, the boy is tired. A kid walking on the road. Yes, the boy is tired. Definitely. That's, wait, let me just do this. A boy walked on the road, and this boy seems to be tired. Yes, that's 100% correct. Let us put it, a tired boy walked on the empty road. This works because the road, if you see, is empty. So this is what we are trying to visualize. No one said that the boy is walking slowly. This is my visualization, my common sense saying that when someone is tired, they will walk slowly. So, a tired boy walked slowly on the empty road. How about giving a small reason to it? These things should automatically come in a child's mind. That If a boy was tired, why he was tired? If a boy is tired, what should be his action? Should he be running? No, doesn't fit. So these what we call as connecting the dots. One reason giving rise to another reason. If I tell you to look grammatically, then it's like adding adjective first, tired, empty, then adding the adverb slowly, and then finally giving the reason after a long day. So this is the way we teach kids how to make a simple sentence into a creative sentence. And this is what you also can do at home. When your kid is with a creative writing exercise, and I tell you, your parents, creative writing is nothing like new I am talking about. No, it's there. It's there since times. But it has now got recognition. It has now got an exposure. Now, children are not just judged by the way they write right or wrong answers, the way we were judged. If you're writing right answer, photosynthesis, definition, procedure, everything is there, yes, then full marks. If one step is missing, marks cut. No. But nowadays, the kind of answers our children are writing, they are creative answers. They need to think accordingly and write. And that is what is creative writing about. So remember this small little formula that whenever you have to write anything, even if there's no picture, I added this picture and that was the reason you could guess there's a tired boy because the boy was looking tired, right? So even if there's no picture and only this sentence, a boy walked on the road, should be able to visualize it and write possibly combinations. Possibility combinations, these are the possible combinations. See, if I would have not shown you the picture of the boy because he looked tired, you said tired, and if there was no picture, a boy walked on the road, what could be the possible combinations? A cheerful boy, a frightened boy, an excited boy, a lonely boy, a curious boy, and I tell you, every time the reason will change. A cheerful boy walked slowly on the, not necessarily an empty road, it could be a road full with all the vehicles and everything. And what could be the reason for cheerfulness? Because it was his birthday. A frightened boy, because a dog just chased him. An excited boy, because a guest was waiting for them at home. A lonely boy, because he has no friends, or maybe he had a fight with his best friend. Or a curious boy, because he found something on the road which is very exciting. Right? So, this is imagining about possibilities with just one sentence.
Please unmute yourself.
Oh, I didn't mute.
No, just a couple of seconds. Only the couple of seconds.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, what I was speaking about was this is how you add possibilities to just one single sentence. Forget about the visualization that showed being tired. See, you can practice this with your kid. Every time the reason changes. A cheerful boy, a frightened boy, an excited boy, a lonely boy, a curious boy. So these reasons, when they change, children think, okay, and then you can build a story behind it, right? So this is how creative writing works. So all in all, what is creative writing? Creative writing is the ability to think, imagine, organize thoughts, and express ideas in an original and meaningful way. That is most important. When parents come to us and they tell us, my kid wants to write a story, please teach them creative writing. So we have got 3 different levels that we take the children to depending upon their ability. So I can be like, okay, write a story about a boy who goes to a chocolate land and there he goes around and collects chocolate, so many chocolates. He brings them for free and then he comes home and the story is over. No, this is not done. Every story should be meaningful, should be logical, should be related to something that the child is interested in, or maybe something that the child is learning. Because that is what helps the child to think about what am I studying? I am studying Python. So, how should I include it in my story? Or I love logical reasoning. For example, I have one of my students, her name is Sarah, and she is good into logical reasoning. She writes poems also. So when she went on to write her own story, and then next she went on to her writing her own book, I made it a point that you should be including lots of logical reasoning problems in a detective story. And yes, she did. So all of the stories move in that direction. One of my students, she was like, I like animals. And she had been like all around the world with her family. So she wanted to include both. So then I made a prompt for her. Go and rescue the animals. But which animals? The animals should be the endangered species in the world. So find out, go on Google and find out which are the endangered species in the world. So she found out some 25 endangered species in the world which she could recognize, and many of them we were not aware of it. So she made a list of it, and out of those 25, we selected 15 such animals. And then I asked her to go and research about every animal, which country they stay in, what are the geographic conditions over there, what problems that animal is facing, why they are in the endangered species category, what kind of people live around there, what kind of support can you give to them. And that she documented everything, and then we converted every chapter, I mean, about every animal into a story, and then the complete book, which I'll be showing up in the end. That's Around the World with Chevy, Tales of Animal Rescue. So she got her book published, and that is the way now she is also registered to, go on this. She's going to write second book on climate change. So again, there has to be a lot of research happening. So this is the way when I tell you that it has to be meaningful, it has to be logical, it is that. So it is not about difficult English. It is not about memorizing vocabulary. Your vocabulary automatically becomes better when you start writing it. The easiest way I tell you is, if I know a word, very angry. Now I don't know the other word for very angry, so I'm looking dictionary. No, go on Google. Just write SYN. Sin means synonym. SYN, very angry. Quickly the word comes. Furious. Yeah, I can write. So then I'll be writing furious. So I tell all of my students to follow this. Whenever you are stuck somewhere, don't go to ChatGPT or everything. We mentors, we teachers easily find out whether it is written by ChatGPT or not. So the best way, use your own toning, use your own language, go to Google, find out, and then write it down. So this can be one of the ways where you can improve your vocabulary. It's also not about becoming an author. Authorship comes when you want your work to be recognized, when you want to be identified as someone who has done something amazing, something great, and you want people to remember. Now, how does creative writing shape the child? It boosts creativity. All of the stuff that I have talked to you about, it's all about this. Boosting creativity, discipline and focus, yes. I am going to write every day for just 10 minutes, because parents usually ask me this, Mom, how am I going to balance study and writing both? Just for 10 minutes, open your laptop or your diary or your book, write, and then put it off. Then we meet next week, and then I'll see what progress you have. So it's about discipline and focus, confidence, imagination, problem solving, observational skills, because when you see things around, you wish to include those things. One of my students, an extreme game player for Minecraft, I don't know what all levels he have crossed into it. But then his mom got so irritated one day. Then when she called me up and said, Mom, I somehow got your number, and please, I want to put him to work, let him do something. He wrote a book on Minecraft, where he is a hero who is abducted by aliens, and those aliens want him to win something. So he is going to, do everything in the Minecraft and do lots of mathematical calculations into it, and then the complete purpose of it. So what you are doing, that we can put up in the form, and that becomes more interesting for them, because he himself was marketing his own book. It increases the expression skill and, yes, the communication skill. How? Because children go on to speak about their work, right? They go on to speak, I have done this, I am responsible for this is my hard work. So that improves their communication skill. Now, very important. In this era of AI, you can solve maths, you can write essays, you can generate stories, but as Sir said in the beginning, cannot replace imagination, replace curiosity, empathy, originality, and unique life experiences. If you want AI to do something, you have to give AI prompt, and the prompt should be also correct. And if you don't believe me, just write a simple prompt, okay? Just write a simple one, and you give it to AI, and then see what is the output. Then write a little bit sophisticated prompt with the same, only change the language. Look at the output. Every time the output goes on changing. Maybe when you refine it more, or you use little good language, the output becomes much, much better. So, for designing a wonderful prompt, you need to be creative. And that is what is happening here also. Imagination, curiosity, empathy, originality, and unique life experience. AI cannot replace that. So we need to improve that in our kids, because nowadays they are being exposed to so much AI, they are being exposed to games, they are being exposed to so much screen, that they are not thinking all by themselves. They might be scoring good marks in the school, but that is all, learning, studying, and then putting up in the exams, and that's it. Their English communication skill is very good. The language skills are awesome, but when you ask them to write something on this particular topic, they are not. So the circle of, that everything, that you should be good in communication, you should be good in speaking, you should be good in writing, that goes on breaking. Now, I know this. Even I'm mom to kids, so I don't know what to write. This is what kids say when you ask them to write something. Or they'll simply write one sentence. No, one sentence is not enough, because they feel that writing is boring. Or maybe they could be like, I think, but I'm not able to express. I'm not able to put it on paper. Or maybe I don't like English, so I don't want to write. So they'll give you hundreds of reasons for them. I don't want to write. So how we are actually going to make them do this? Can we simply ask them, from today onwards, you are going to think, imagine, and write creatively. Put on the button. It's not at all possible. So how do we do that? How do we ask them to visualize and ask them to create their own stories? So I'm going to share with you some simple practices that every family can adopt to inculcate creative writing in kids. So let me show that to you. This one is my favorite, which I always tell in all of my creative writing sessions. Fill the cup before you ask them to pour. Filling the cup means you need to first inculcate the habit of reading. The cup is actually the brain. Listen until you pour into it. And not only reading, go and watch Discovery Channel. Go and watch National Geographic channels. News, I won't, in today's times, news are not the way which like they used to be before. So many parents ask me, should we watch news? So no teen news. It's always better to go on to watch something like History Channel movie. So these kind of educative channels, they are also good in order to, pour knowledge into your brain. So, reading. Okay, my child reads, but still not a creative thinker. How to fix that problem? Because I know many kids, they are like ardent readers, reading 2 to 3 books every month. How to do that? So, here is a small family reading tradition that I have suggested many families to do this, and they have given me a very positive feedback. So, how is it done together? I'll tell you that, and you can obviously try this at home. So, it's like the whole family comes together just for 15 minutes in the night, just before going to bed, or when they feel that it is a time to relax at that time, or maybe it could be a Sunday. So, you read just one book, read aloud. Children, they become so curious, they themselves want to read it. I'm going to read it out loud. You need to be very much patient because children, they sometimes make mistakes. So just don't, no, you're not able to read. I never knew that you cannot read so well. Don't you know how to pronunciate this word? No. Just let them read and then appreciate. Let them also choose the books. Let them appreciate. Let's be like, come on, we are going to visit a bookstore today. Let us bring one nice book. Whole family reads the book. Target is in 5 days, we have to complete this book. And then you have to speed read it sometimes. And the best way to inculcate creative writing is enact. Take a sentence from the book. Sometimes it could be a teasing sentence also. Throw a tantrum, or maybe, you can put it to use in such a manner that you are teasing someone. And then the kids, they enjoy it. Oh, so actually what is being done? You are trying to take one sentence from the book and put it in front of the kids. Slowly, children learn to take out phrases and then they learn to connect those dots. So that becomes a family reading tradition. And this is what was practiced by my father also. My father introduced this to us. He used to be like, we are going to read one book. So we used to read fairy tales and fiction when I was basically maybe 10 years old or something. By the time I turned 13, my father replaced those fiction books with the stories of prophets. Then we were like discussing them. We were trying to enact sometimes, right? Enact how does it feel like and everything. Then slowly, when I was like 15, my father introduced the translation of the Noble Quran. And it was like, you have to read. Everyone of us are listening. Did you understand? And my father never forced us to understand it, no. He always said that read it. Every time you read, you try to understand by your own level of understanding. And as you grow, you will discover new things. And yes, he was so true. Today also, when I read it, my current problems or my current situations, I find out their solutions right now in through what I am reading. And this was the same book that I read when I was a child. At that time, my perspective was different. This time, my perspective is different. The text is same. So this is what happens. So just look, something that was nurtured at that time, it is still with me, right? So you also can inculcate this particular habit, but you need to be there with your kids in it. And I promise you that this is very rewarding. Parents who have tried this, they tried this for 21 days, and you should be trying anything for at least 21 days because James Clear in his book Atomic Habits tells that 21 days it requires for any habit to make up, but I am opposed to it. I say you require 40 days for a person like me. So everyone can have their own opinion, own experience, but yes, it works. First of all, their imagination becomes richer, vocabulary becomes stronger, their observation becomes sharper, they enjoy writing, and they simply love doing it. How did writing fall in between? Because whatever you read, it remains in their mind, right? And somewhere or the other, they will start to put up in those sentences. And this is how we make it a point that writing is included. Now, there are various other ways of inculcating creative writing. So, reading is one basic. Okay, you can always ask them to write down what we talked about. And father and mother, they are doing it in the first hand, and kids then correct them. No, no, no. This was not the meaning of it. You have written it wrong. Give it to me. I'll correct it. So that is the way you can hold them out. So these are some games. There are six. Actually, the reading activity should have been over here. So there are six such different activities that you can do at home. Another one is the picture prompt game. How to practice this? Simply on your refrigerator or a place which is common and visible to everyone. Take any picture. It could be a family picture or maybe some other random picture, and tell everyone, what do you think about this? If your kids are willing to write, they can maintain a diary of family activities and then they can write it. And if no, then just speak out. What do you think about this picture? And this is very easy, and yes, practiced by few parents that I know. What if questions? What if dogs could talk? What if your pet could talk? What if gravity disappeared for a day? Just when you are having dinner, the father asks this random question, and everyone in the family is like, what? They might not answer, I tell you, they might not answer. But this question sends triggers in their minds. What can happen? And then when you are with your children again, you should have the answer ready with you. And then you can just speak about that for 2 to 3 sentences. Let them also speak about it. And sometimes they speak very weird things, right? Oh, everyone would bounce off from here. Okay, yes. What would be the impact? How everything would be like? So all that we can put up with this activity. Now, there's one important, that is what we call a story jar. So what happens in story jar, what is shown over here is that there you can put up some objects, random objects, and then you can tell kids to, it could be a Sunday activity, early morning activity before kids wake up. Usually, I also practice this with my children. Take a jar, put some random things into it, and then ask them to create a story. So the whole day they are creating the story, different versions of the story. Another important one is daily observation journal. Now, what you can do in daily observation journal is that you can ask your kids to write. The daily observation journal should be a big register. You can ask the kids to write at least 3 good deeds that they have done today. And each deed should be marked. If you did it for yourself, then you're going to get, for example, what I do with my kids. If you have done that good deed with yourself, you're going to get 5 rupees. If you have done that good deed for anyone else in the house, then you get 10 rupees. And if you have done that deed for someone else selflessly, you don't know that person, that requires courage, right? So you're going to get 15. So my kids keep track of it, how much I have earned. And then my other kids are like, I suspect that he has done something wrong. So they always try to, see whether to validate whether he has done it or not and how much is his counting then. So that creates a journal for them. Now, when my kid is older than 10 years, so I have told him to explain that good deed, not to me, but in his journal. So he's explaining, and the younger one, he's like, oh, the brother is explaining, so the brother should be getting more money for that. Why not? I also explain. So he's also trying to explain, but most important thing is he is visualizing it. And the best thing, their intention now is to always try to do good so that we can document it. And this is what is going to happen in real life also, because whatever we do, that is being documented, right? So that documentation, small pilot project of it, this is about the daily observation. Then there could be alternative endings. For example, if you go on to watch a movie, just tell your kids, for example, the prompt that I showed to you, the boy walked on the road. So what if the boy was walking frightened on the road? So the settings would change. Oh, the dog was chasing it. Or there was something that he saw that he became frightened. Or he just saw a ghost. So those alternative endings also help children to think, imagine, and ultimately write creatively. And family story nights are the best ways. Here, just speak one sentence and everyone should write. Yes, father, mother, everyone. And I also practice this at my home. For a few days, this was okay. But then I realized that I am only writing and my kids aren't writing. So you need to motivate them. So I told them that whatever you write, I'm going to document it and I'm going to publish it. Then they were like, okay, we are going to do it. And then we just used to have one prompt with us, and everyone used to write their own versions depending upon what daily activities they have done. So, this is the way you can practice creative writing at home. But the most important thing, if you do this, this is okay, but this requires some kind of guidance. How much to think? To what extent to think? There can be exaggerations. It has to be in a logical flow. It shouldn't be a simple narrative. I went there and I came back. No. It should be something that is enhancing. It should be something that creates some weightage to your writing. It should be worth an appreciation. And that is what is required nowadays. So, whatever your kids are writing, learning, scoring in exams, that is kept aside. Now, what matters when you go in for international university admissions, they look for your passion projects and you're not ready with it. They look for initiatives, they look for creativity, leadership, commitment. From where would you bring this? You just came to know about this right now. So you need to work on these from the time your kid goes in class 4. When you work on this, you realize what are your kids' interests. Is my kid interested in space sciences? Is my kid interested in medical sciences? Is my kid interested in engineering also? Is my kid interested in building robots? Or my kid is interested in dress designing? Now that's all coming up. Interior designing, cooking, what all stuff. From that time, you need to show up to the admission officers. I have been inclined to this and I have been working on this. And I have a nice example that I'll show to every one of you as we proceed further, how this passion projects help. And this is what is required nowadays. So, writing, creative writing, and then eventually getting published or getting yourself recognized and identified helps the admission officers also to just go on Google and yeah. So this is the way you can please do that. Right. So how can I help as a creative writing mentor, and how can Honeycomb help you with that? So in Honeycomb, we have created certain mentored programs that help children to think, imagine, and write creatively. We have got 3 different levels. One level is for 7 to 8 year olds. Then we have got level 2 for 9 to 14-year-olds. And then we have got level 3, which is writing your own book and then publishing your own book. So let us see what is into it. And yeah, this is also very important. The important thing is that we at Honeycomb don't just teach to write stories and get them published. Why publishing is important, I had already told you. Children tend to feel recognized, they want to feel appreciated. So, for the sake of that recognition, for identity building and appreciation, it is very important that they should be visible at a platform. So, for that, this is very important. So, we are not into writing, we don't teach simple write stories that are full of imagination. No, it has to be research based, maybe model based, maybe logic driven based. Just as I gave you the example of Sarah Amir Iqbal, she wrote a logical driven based story that had lots of logical reasoning into it. And maybe they could be moral value based stories also. So we have got level 1 where we have 10 online sessions, and this is for kids who are like 7 to 8. 6 is too young, but 7 to 8 and sometimes 9-year-olds are also welcome into this. So we have got worksheets, then we have got 10 online sessions, and then we help them how to think and imagine, how to create characters, how to describe them, how to write interesting settings, story words, improve vocabulary, thinking and observation skills. All this is done in level 1 of the workshop. Then comes level 2. Level 2 is a little bit different. Level 2 has got 12 online sessions, and this is for children who are 9 to 14 years of age. And we have divided these sessions into 2 phases. The first phase is 7 days, and the next phase is 5 days. So, in the first 7 days, we teach children how to write complete stories, how to write beginnings, middles, endings. The most important part, how to show and not to tell. For example, if it's 1 a.m. in the night, so you need to imagine what happens at 1 a.m. in the night. Oh, the dark, there's pitch dark. There's the dogs are barking, and maybe there's someone just sneaking inside. So all that visualization and imagination that has to be important. Then referencing other stories, writing settings and descriptions. This story that they are going to write in these 7 days, we are going to get it published in our book, The Honeycomb. I'll show it to you. Then comes the next 5 sessions. Once the children are aware of how to write one complete story, we focus on 5 different genres. So there's scary, there's funny, there's adventurous, there's mystery, and then there's non-fiction stories. For every assignment that they do, every day they have got assignments, they will get a personal feedback. It's highly interactive, and also the batch sizes are feasible. Now let us look at yes. So I've already explained what they are going to learn in these 7 sessions. So this is the entire book publishing process that happens. Stories are submitted, we edit them, then illustrate them, then format them, then design their covers, and finally, this is how the Honeycomb book looks like. You can search on Amazon also, Honeycomb books, and every book has got a different version. For example, this season 9, we have named it Honeycomb Dazzle. Previously, we have had 8 seasons. They were like Honeycomb Sparkle, Crystal, Amber, Topaz, Twinkle, Aura, Radiance. And this one is Honeycomb Dazzle. This is how the back cover of the book looks like. So all the authors, they write their short stories in this after attending the 12 sessions, and their story gets published. And what you see over here is the back cover of the book. So they have got their pictures, their name of the schools, their cities, their countries. Why do we include the name of the school also? Because the school also gets recognition, and the child also gets recognition in the school. When they carry the book to the school, they are like, I have returned this. So it's like what the parents tell me, oh, they are getting the attention like the heroes get, right? So they're getting attention like a celebrity. So this is what happens. So that is the reason we always make sure to include school names also. So this is how the back cover looks like. And then there's level 3. Level 3 is like when the children, they are like done with level 2, they move on to level 3 where they write their own books. All the royalties that are collected by writing their books, they are collected by the kids. Now, these are all one-on-one sessions. Minimum 25 sessions are required to complete one book. Their books get published on Amazon, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and all the printing partners and publishing partners that we have lined up with. Their book gets copyrighted with ISBN numbers so that anyone who searches their name on Google, the book comes in. Even if you go on Amazon and search their name, the book comes in. So this is how you get global recognition, and also you become an entrepreneur. I mean, your kid becomes an entrepreneur. So this also helps for foreign university admissions because this becomes your passion profile. I love space sciences, so I have written a book on space sciences. So this is the way all this is. And so these are some examples of my students who joined us in level 1, then eventually went to level 2, and then eventually went to level 3, and then finally got their own books published, and they are all of them on Amazon. So this is all about creative writing, its journey, how the kid can come in, join with us on this journey, how we can mentor, how we can help the child create their own identity, get recognized, along with them, develop skills that help them to succeed, to prove themselves, and eventually help them in growing themselves. So this is all about my presentation. Thank you, sir, for giving